Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Arsenal the Incredible. You know, sometimes it's the content you don't make that actually makes the story. And normally I'd planned in to do an Arsenal versus Liverpool combined 11. And the fact that that would be redundant content just shows you how incredible Arsenal's season has been. Because if we're being honest, apart from Alisson and Ramsdale, I think you're struggling to get a Liverpool player in. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about what is a huge game for Arsenal against Liverpool this weekend, and a game I think they'll win. And that's not from a jinxing point of view. It's incredible, really. I mean, look, incredible doesn't necessarily mean good. Arsenal, the incredible, I think they have been incredible. I think when you look at their season, they are worthy Premier League winners if they end up winning it. Because look, I mean, let's have a look at their 23 league wins. The closest to them is Man City with 20. They're absolutely tearing it up. And this brings me to point one, actually. I saw one of these, who put your hands in the air if you've seen an out-of-context clip with dramatic music on TikTok in relation to football. This happens to me sometimes. I've been used for one that got sent to me last night where I basically said, I didn't say anything about Arsenal. I just said my top four this season was four teams that wasn't Arsenal. And then you've got some Arsenal fan who's suddenly feeling brave, going, oh, look at these men saying that Arsenal won't get top four. And I'm like, whoa, you can't have it both ways. This guy must like pegging because he likes it both ways. Because I don't know what the point is. I guarantee the person who made that clip at the start of the season wasn't saying we're going to be in a title race or even get top four. You can't beat Arsenal the Incredible and then start mocking people because they didn't think you were going to get top four. That's the whole point of being incredible. What you've done this season is incredible. Like mocking people because saying that you weren't going to get top four. That's what makes it so incredible. That's why I and a lot of people for the last few months have been saying how amazing Arsenal are and what Arteta's done. Because it's incredible what they've done compared to what everyone predicted they were going to do. It's like winning the lottery and then going, I can't believe you didn't realise you were going to win the lottery. I suppose it's a glimpse into a little bit of the world that we live in the football social media space where, you know, anything you say is ridiculed or taken out of context by idiots who don't know how the real world works. The reality is with Arsenal, they have been incredible. But the reality is with Arsenal, as they face this big game against Liverpool, is that if we'd done an Arsenal versus Liverpool combined 11 on the eve of the first day of the season, Liverpool would have dominated it and Arsenal fans would have accepted it because that's where those clubs were at the start of the season. Liverpool would have been the team that was predicted to compete with Man City for the title. Arsenal would have been, well, if you can get fourth place, it's a very good season for Arteta. Look at it now in April. Liverpool would absolutely beg, steal and borrow to get anywhere near fourth place, and Arsenal would be destroyed if they didn't win the Premier League. That is incredible. That's the journey Arsenal have been on. It's a bit like when I said last year I would have sold Rashford because I think he needed a change, United needed a change, and he was terrible. You look at it a year later, it's an incredible turnaround, it's incredible hard work, and he deserves all the plaudits. It's the same with Arsenal. If somebody had said to me at the start of the season Arsenal are going to win the league or Arsenal are going to get top four, I'd have said, right, someone needs to keep an eye on that person because delusion is an illness. That's not mocking Arsenal. That's actually I actually think it's a credit. I actually think it's a compliment to say, I don't think Arsenal were going to get top four at the start of the season. And remember, look, I don't want to make this about me, obviously it's about everybody, but I said when Arsenal fans wanted to sack Arteta that I believe that there's a manager there that can build something. Oh, I'm surprised he has. Should we be going round all those Arsenal fans and saying, well, you are an Arsenal fan, but you don't get to celebrate the title because you thought the manager was crap and you wanted to sack him? No, that's not how it works. Like, things change. In all walks of life, things change. But what Arteta and Arsenal have done, I could see what Arteta was trying to build, but I put my hands up. I never, ever thought they'd be in a title race this year. If I distinctly remember saying at the start of the season, I think this season for Arsenal was about trying to get top four, and then next stage would be to build your bench out so that then you can challenge for the title maybe next year or the year after. But even that was, maybe a little bit premature. To be challenging for the title, well, to be title, they're not challenging. To have the title in their hands right now with so little time left, it's amazing. And the story isn't taking the piss out of people who said Arsenal weren't going to get top four. I don't get that. I don't get that. Get back to your pegging, because you love it both ways, don't you? By the sounds of it, ridiculous. The story is Arsenal's season is incredible, and I believe they're going to go to Anfield on Sunday and win. I think this game, and obviously we'll be doing it as a watch along, I think this game is huge. I think it's a statement game. I think Arsenal have got other games that are difficult. Remember, if Man City win their game in hand, which I think they will, and if they beat Arsenal at the Etihad, which they'll think they will, they'd only be 2 points behind Arsenal, which means really they just need Arsenal to draw and they keep winning, and they'll be level with them. So Arsenal have got other potential slip-ups. Newcastle away, I think they've got to play Brighton as well at some point. But this would be a statement game, and that's why I think they're going to win, because I think that Anfield, Liverpool this season are dreadful, and Arsenal this season are the real deal. So I think anything is possible at Anfield, anything is possible with Liverpool, but form, and people will say form goes out the window. I don't think form goes out the window, really, because it's not a derby. And saying form goes out the window is like saying everything Arsenal have done this season, home and away, goes out the window. It won't go out the window. The momentum, the chemistry, the belief, the confidence, that's not going to go out the window. And the same for Liverpool. They have no momentum. They are bereft of confidence. They're not a team this year, and they just can't wait for the summer and whatever that's going to bring. I think Arsenal go there, and look, Liverpool are capable of winning, but I think if you played this game 10 times, I think Arsenal win it more times than Liverpool. So I'm going to go with an Arsenal win. I think they'll go there, and look, you can't account for red cards or refereeing decisions, or Liverpool just suddenly click like they did against United a few weeks ago. But I think Arsenal are a better side, and that I go back to, if you did a combined 11, well, I think Alisson's probably the best goalkeeper in the world. I think he's a very good goalkeeper, and I think he's probably one of the few positives for Liverpool this season. And as much as Ramsdale's good, I can't give that to Arsenal. I can't give Ramsdale over Alisson. I just can't. I'll die on that hill, whatever you want in a footballing term. I cannot put Ramsdale ahead of Alisson. But everywhere else, Ben White at right back, easy. Zinchenko at left back this season, easy. Gabriel and well, I know he's injured at the moment, but I mean, look, Van Dijk's been really, really good. But I think that the centre backs for Arsenal, the midfield for Arsenal, and I mean up front, yeah. Again, Saka is beating Salah this season. I know Salah's brilliant. Maybe that's a bit controversial, but I think we're talking about this season, combined 11, you wouldn't drop Saka for Salah, you'd move one to the wing, I suppose. But, we're not going to do that. So I really do think, that was it, Saliba, I forgot his name for a minute. Saliba is in there. Xhaka, I mean, Arsenal's midfield is better than Liverpool's midfield. Martinelli, yes, definitely off the left. The only player that gets in is Alisson, and that's incredible in itself. So, I mean, that's why I think Arsenal are going to win. They're just a better team. And I think that what they've achieved this season, I don't want to keep going on about it because I've said it so many times, but this is a shock. I don't care what anybody says. This is a shock what Arsenal have done, but only in the context of the first month of the season. I think as soon as the first month of the season was over and you saw what Arsenal were about, you thought it wasn't a shock, it was whether they can sustain it. And they have sustained it. And I think once we hit the World Cup, there were still people thinking, well, we'll come back from the World Cup and they'll falter a little bit. But actually, that consistency, chemistry, performance has been sustained throughout the season. It's not a shock that Arsenal could win the league. It would have been a shock at the start of the season. But, an incredible amount of credit and praise deserves and belongs with Arteta and Arsenal. And look, every fan base has got knobheads. But look, I think that if Arsenal fans are I don't think Arsenal fans are, but these certain Arsenal fans are now trying to come across as clever because they're trying to say that people have been writing them off all season. I really don't. I don't. And look, Arsenal aren't the most likeable club historically. As a United fan, I don't like Arsenal, but I speak to a lot of United fans, and this season there's a lot of respect, and I think that's replicated throughout other fan bases as well. There's a lot of respect for what Arsenal's done. So I don't buy into this argument that people underrated Arsenal. Nobody was predicting they'd get top four, which is an amazing, incredible season. And for weeks, months, all I hear is Arsenal have been incredible this season. So look, all Arsenal fans need to focus on is getting up behind that team and making sure they get the job done. And I think they'll get the job done on Sunday. Get your comments in below, smash a like on the video, and make sure you subscribe.